Ako na. Good day, everyone. Welcome to the 49th webinar of the SEARCA Online Learning and Virtual Engagement, or SOLVE, today, March 17. My name is Toix from SEARCA, and I'll be your moderator for today's event. Our topic for today's webinar is Adapt, Navigating AI Integration in Schools and Universities. Relevant to this topic, we are honored to have an expert with us on artificial intelligence from the Philippines who will share his insights on the use of ethical AI in the academy. On to our program for this morning. After a few housekeeping reminders, we will jump right into the presentation of our distinguished speaker. There will be an open forum after the presentation where you, our audience, will get to ask relevant questions about the topic. We then request our audience for feedback and formally close the webinar. Now, here are some reminders. If you are tuned in via SEARCA's Facebook page, you may type your questions in the comments section. Please include your location or country of origin. If you're registered and tuned in via Zoom, please post your questions or comments in the Q&A section located at the bottom or top of your screen, depending on the gadget you are using. Please include your location or country of origin also. For you to access the recording, this webinar will be made available on SEARCA's Facebook page and the YouTube channel. So please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Today's presentation slides will also be available on the SEARCA website. The slides shown during the past webinars have already been posted there. You can visit us at www.searca.org. All right, let's now dive into our presentation. May I introduce to you our speaker? Dr. Reinald Adrian Pugoy is an associate professor at the University of the Philippines Open University, or UPOU. He also serves as the director of the UPOU ICT Development Office. Dr. Rain joined UPOU in 2015 and teaches graduate courses in programming languages and artificial intelligence. His academic background includes a PhD in computer science and information engineering from the National Cheng Kung University in Taiwan, supported by the Taiwan Ministry of Education Scholarship Award. He also holds a BS and MS in computer science from the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. He furthered his expertise with a research fellowship at the Anadolu University in Turkey, completed in October 2023. His research interests include artificial intelligence, particularly natural language processing, machine learning, recommender systems, and AI in education, to name some, and learning management systems such as Moodle. He has been recognized for his contributions to the field with several awards, including the UPOU Gawad Chancellor for Outstanding Faculty, the Asian Association of Open Universities Young Innovator Award, Gold Medal, Best Innovation Award at Moodle Moot Japan, and the Best Paper Award at the Philippine Computing Science Congress. Furthermore, his work has been featured in the prestigious IEEE Transactions on Knowledge and Data Engineering, a leading journal in the field of AI and data science. Since the emergence of ChatGPT and generative AI in 2023, Dr. Rain has delivered about 30 keynote addresses and presentations at various universities, institutions, organizations, and conferences across the Philippines and Southeast Asia. Given his expertise, Dr. Rain can provide valuable insights into topics such as the application of AI in education and the development and management of e-learning platforms. Without further ado, let's welcome our speaker, Dr. Reinald Adrian Pugoy.
Hello, good morning. I hope that you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and again, thanks, SEARCA, for inviting me to be the presenter this morning. Let me just share my screen right now. Please hold on. I'd like to check if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Not the presenter view, the full screen. All right. So again, I'm from UPOU. I'm Dr. Reinald Pugoy, and as mentioned earlier, the title of my talk is Adopt and Adapt: Navigating AI Integration in Schools and Universities. And so far, I've seen there are 700, almost 700 or 800 attendees of the webinar this morning. Now, this is the outline of our talk this morning. First, we're going to talk about some fundamental principles surrounding AI. And after that, AI meets schools and universities, about the integration of AI with education. And after that, some concluding or parting words. Now, let's go straight to our first point. I'm pretty sure that we have used AI in our daily lives when it comes to emails being labeled as spam, or using your smartphones and the autocomplete in your keyboards and other financial and even healthcare applications. AI is becoming more and more ubiquitous. And if we're going to define AI just quickly, well, before we get to the actual educational integration, what AI is, it is the process of replicating human knowledge that involves building models or computer programs which are trained on ginormous amounts of data so that it can perform tasks that humans normally perform, such as classification, prediction, and generation with outstanding and astounding accuracy. And for AI to work properly, it relies on data, which I mentioned one slide ago. And if you have heard of the expression or of the statement, data is the new oil, well, it is. Because without data, then I'd say that there'd be no AI. And data can be collected in different formats or different forms, such as texts, images, and numbers. And just to understand quickly how AI works, I mentioned that it works by learning from data, and specifically, it would look for certain statistical patterns, make predictions, make guesses, again, based on that training data or training data set. And as you feed more and more data, or as we generate more and more data every day, then AI will also keep on improving. And to compare and contrast AI with human decision making, again, AI makes decisions by identifying patterns. It's quite similar to how we humans make choices based on experience. There's an analogy again between the data and the human experience. However, the difference is that unlike humans, AI doesn't have intuition and even emotions. So if someone tells you that AI is emotional, that is absolutely ridiculous, because again, it works on using statistics, using numbers, using patterns found in the data. And quickly, this is the basic AI taxonomy, because I know that other people might consider these terms synonymous, but not really. AI is the biggest umbrella. Under AI, we have Gen AI or generative AI. And under Gen AI, we have the large language models. And I'm pretty sure that one of the reasons why we are having this kind of talk, this kind of discussion, because LLMs really brought AI into the limelight. LLMs such as ChatGPT, Google Bard, and even DeepSeek, one of those Chinese large language models. Now, what are the advantages if we're going to use AI? AI can be helpful when it comes to optimization and breakthroughs, and also having societal gains. And we're just going to quickly go through these slides. In terms of AI for optimization and breakthroughs, it can definitely increase our work efficiency by introducing an advanced kind of automation that AI can streamline repetitive tasks so that our productivity can be further enhanced. And well, technically, AI is more objective than humans, so it would somehow reduce human errors. And AI can also help us in making decisions because, again, we're like a broken record here. We have vast amounts of data. And another thing is that AI can help us usher into further scientific advancements in different research fields, not only in education, but like astronomy, biology, medicine, physics, you name them all. This would enable discoveries that were previously unattainable. When it comes to the societal gains, AI drives innovation. And because AI drives innovation, then there is the potential for economic growth, creating new industries, probably creating new jobs. And as a side effect, that would also boost productivity. AI can also solve complex problems such as climate modeling, energy optimization, and resource management. And another field that would have, I'd say, a direct impact with education is accessibility and inclusion. And these two concepts are actually what we espouse at the UP Open University, that AI has the potential to break down different barriers, making technology such as AI, making information accessible to different types of populations, and in our context, to different kinds of learners. Of course, if we have the advantages, we have the disadvantages. What are the cons? Why not AI? First is the issues surrounding reliability and trust. Another would be ethical and societal risks. And the third one would be privacy and security threats. Let's go to the first categorization, reliability and trust issues. I'm pretty sure, or you should have heard of the term hallucinations, which is just a complicated word for making up facts. Hallucinations and misinformation are particularly prevalent in large language models. AI can generate false or misleading information that can be actually unreliable, that they can produce convincing statements which are actually nonsense or incorrect. Another issue is over reliance on AI and the loss of human skills. And this one can be considered particularly debatable because if you're going to think about it, on one side, dependence on AI may reduce human critical thinking, creativity, and problem solving skills. On the other hand, AI can also help us usher into a different kind of critical thinking. That's why I mentioned earlier, this is quite debatable. And just to show you an example of hallucination, I've asked Google Gemini and ChatGPT the same question. Tell me about the BS tourism program of UPOU. Google Gemini happily obliged and gave me, sorry, it's not Google Gemini, ChatGPT, I mean, ChatGPT happily obliged and gave me the answer. While Google Gemini told me that we don't offer any BS tourism program. And that is the correct answer. We don't offer any BS reason program, but for ChatGPT, this is nonsense. My point here is AI, such as LLMs, can be deceptively convincing and confidently wrong. They can generate authoritative, plausible sounding statements, but the content is entirely wrong and even dangerous. That's why I'm like a broken record here. Every time I give a speaking engagement, I always tell my audience, let us be more critical. Let us be skeptical of any outputs derived from AI. Now, let's talk briefly about the ethical and societal risks. Because here's the thing, let me give you a quick example. Let's say that a clinic has used AI and there is an AI misdiagnosis. Now, who is at fault here? Again, misdiagnosis for a particular patient. Is it the AI developer, the clinic using AI, or the person who provided the training data? And this is actually an ongoing discussion on who should be accountable whenever wrongful statements or misdiagnosis happen. That falls under the second aspect that I'm indicated in the slide, the lack of accountability and ethical dilemmas. We have to think who should be responsible or accountable whenever something happens. And then let's talk about the biases and discrimination. The thing about AI is whatever is in the training data, the AI will inherit everything in it, including both the biases and discrimination. And worse, AI can further amplify societal biases that may lead to unfair or discriminatory practices. Let me give you here a quick example. This is Google Gemini. I've asked Google Gemini, what are the two best utensils to use for eating? The answer that LLM or the chatbot gave me is fork and knife. This is true if you are from the West. However, if you are a true blue Filipino, your answer would be fork and spoon. Or if you are Chinese or Korean, your answer would be chopsticks. Again, this is a quick illustration of discrimination. And other aspects would be privacy and security threats. As I mentioned earlier, data is the new oil. Without data, then there's no AI, and AI is heavily reliant on vast amounts of data, which may raise risks surrounding surveillance and even privacy. And in relation to privacy concerns, there are security concerns as well. And AI can be used for cyber attacks, God forbid, deep fakes, autonomous weapons, which may pose global threats. Okay, I'm gonna give you here another quick example. About 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, this AI yearbook app went viral and people went gaga over it. People wanted to improve their photos. They wanted to appear what? More beautiful or more handsome. However, there is this government agency which raised this privacy risk warning for the AI yearbook app. Because if you're gonna think about it, okay, you improve your image, but at what cost? You basically provided your image on a silver platter to the AI company for free. So that is something that we should be more wary or more careful about. I hope that you can still follow my presentation this morning. And right now, we're going to go to the next part of our webinar, AI meets schools and universities. We argue that AI is converging with virtually every aspect of our lives, including education. And there is this online survey given to about 20,000 online adults from across 28 different countries. They were asked, how will AI change our lives? And the top answer is education, with 35% of the respondents indicating such. According to UNESCO, I'm pretty sure we know what UNESCO is, right? AI has the potential to address some of the biggest challenges in education today, innovate teaching and learning practices, and ultimately accelerate the progress towards the fourth sustainable development goal. And what is the fourth sustainable development goal? That is quality education for everyone, that everyone would have access to that quality education. And as educators, considering the ubiquity of AI, what are our options? Basically, they are two generic options. Do we ban the use of AI altogether because we expect our students to misuse it, or we show them the way, we become the bigger persons, how to use AI in a more responsible manner? Because at the end of the day, AI is here to stay. That's why my encouragement, what we can do today, is to learn to adopt and adapt, hence the title, and preach the responsible use of AI. And this is becoming the trend in many developed or first world countries, such as Taiwan, Singapore, Japan, and according to the Singapore Ministry of Education, their statement, it can be a useful tool for learning only when students have mastered basic concepts and thinking skills. This is why the Ministry of Education will also equip students with the skills to use AI tools responsibly. And as we keep on navigating the interplay between AI and education, I propose there are four strategies how we can navigate and explore such kind of integration. First one is strategic AI integration in education. This is the overarching one, if you will. Second is educators. Different stakeholders in the universities and schools have to be empowered how to use AI in this digital age. Third would be the proper governance of AI. When we deploy AI, deploy or employ, how do we consider its governance? And the fourth one, of course, there is a relationship between human beings, of course, and AI. How do we how do we deal with AI? Now let's go to the first category, strategic AI integration in education. First one, I would really encourage different schools and universities here, and I'm talking to the administrators per se. You must have a grasp on AI's capabilities and limitations so that you would know how to effectively integrate that into the school environment. That somehow you must have that minimal working understanding so that whatever decisions you're going to make in the future, you are properly informed, you are properly motivated. Let's say you don't want to use AI. You don't simply reject AI because you don't understand what AI is. But the decision that you're making is based on something more profound because you understand the the principles surrounding AI. You have to carefully consider that because at the end of the day, AI is reshaping how schools operate from possibly automating administrative tasks to personalizing the learning experiences of the students. It has to start at the top. And in relation to the first point here, there should also be alignment of technology such as AI with institutional goals. I'm again talking to the school leaders or university leaders that you must ensure that whatever advancements we are experiencing or encountering right now, I'm not only talking about AI, but the larger or greater technology per se, they must align with your schools mission, and vision. You have to think about this carefully. Third, and this is something that I strongly support, sorry, that schools and universities must establish a school-wide AI policy. And let's say in the absence of a school-wide policy, you can start this on your own. If you are a teacher, professor, or educator, you can institute a classroom-wide AI policy. The point here is that having clear guidelines and protocols would really help a lot. You should define when and how AI is going to be used, and there is the reinforcement of the importance of human judgment in maintaining accuracy and ethical standards. I mentioned earlier, AI, the decisions made by AI is based on finding patterns. There's no emotion, there's no intuition. That's why we human beings have to be on top of AI. We should control AI, not AI controlling us. That we are the final decision maker. I hope that that is clear. And another suggestion that I can add here, and this is something which I've been doing with my classes, I've instituted AI specific honor codes because prior studies have shown that employing honor codes is highly effective in combating academic dishonesty and misconduct. That at the start of the semester, I would require them. You have to read, you have to fill out, you have to sign this a this AI specific honor code. You cannot continue in my class if you don't complete that particular honor code requirement. And in relation to the third point, I'm going to share now the UPOU guidelines on the use of AI in teaching and learning, which we actually released in January of last year. It's been more than a year already. And the guidelines have been collaboratively developed by the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, the ICT Development Office, which I'm heading, and the Center of Open and Digital Teaching and Learning. What I would like to mention here is that there is a collaboration, close management between the ICT Development Office, which would have the technological expertise, and the Center for Open and Digital Teaching and Learning, which have the pedagogical expertise. These two have to work together, the pedagogy and technology. And the one who integrates all our ideas would be the higher person, and that would be the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs. And I would suggest if you are gonna formulate your own policies in your schools or universities, there should be a representative from ICT and another expert from the teaching strategy side or pedagogy. I hope that helps. At UPOU, we recognize the potential of AI in creating content, in espousing adaptive learning, language support, assessment, and feedback. And one of the things that we are committed in doing at UPOU for our stakeholders is to provide training sessions, open educational resources, and relevant technologies to ensure the academic community can use AI tools effectively and ethically. The guidelines for our teachers, the teachers can integrate AI to support course learning outcomes, enhance understanding, and facilitate effective learning activities. AI can be used to address diverse learning preferences, diverse learning population, and potentially promote lifelong learning skills such as critical thinking. Yeah, AI can help us facilitate in achieving that. And the teachers must clearly communicate to the students the extent of permissible AI use, both in learning activities and assessments. For the students, the general guidelines for them would be requiring them to properly cite any AI generated content used in their work. That there is some sort of a declaration of AI use. I've heard that many teachers have begun doing that. And also, we require them to disclose the use of AI in data collection processes for coursework. And both teachers and students are discouraged to use AI for harmful or illegal purposes. I mean, that is self explanatory, right? Not only AI, but any other tool shouldn't be used for anything that would harm other people. Now, these are I'd say, the suggested AI use types in the classroom. The three types of uses that the teacher can decide to implement in the classroom. The first one is the unrestricted use, such that the students may freely use AI tools without any limitations. Well, it really depends on the design of your classroom, or it would really depend on the teacher's academic freedom, which one of these will be deployed or employed in the class. Another one, I'd say that this is the pretty popular one: conditional use. AI tools are allowed under specific conditions, such as requiring prior approval from the teacher or mandatory acknowledgement or declaration of the use of AI. And the third one would be prohibited use, such that sorry, such that AI tools are entirely prohibited in any situation or capacity. I hope that this particular slide helps you to decide how you're gonna decide the direction of AI use in your classrooms. Next, we go to the fourth point. We also have to rethink assessment strategies. You know what? The traditional way of doing exams, the recall based or factual recall based exams, may not work any longer because of AI. Traditional assessments may no longer effectively measure student learning because AI can also generate content. And when I said rethinking, we should adopt, carefully reconsider alternative assessment tools such as oral exams, experiential learning, project based requirements to emphasize critical thinking and creativity, and AI aware assignments that require human interpretation and analysis rather than the usual factual recall. That what we can do here, we evaluate the how the students think. We evaluate the processing made by the students and not only evaluate the answer per se. And in relation to rethinking assessment strategies, I'm pretty sure that one of the questions you might want to ask later: should we use AI detectors, right? And we're going to talk about this right now. I'd say that this is an endless cat and mouse game. We have the AI tools, the large language models. They are rapidly advancing in sophistication. And there is the AI checker, and they just keep on improving and improving, and there's no end to that, making AI detection increasingly unreliable. Personally, I don't believe in AI detectors because you know what? During my spare time, I play around these AI detectors, and if you just change one word from the AI generated answer, then it would immediately pass the the detection. And another thing here is that there's no universal agreement on what actually constitutes AI written text. And this kind of findings, this kind of impossibility, quote unquote, has been proven by different studies, articles, papers. And another thing is that reliance on AI detection tools leads to false positives and false negatives. Let's say that the AI detector tells that your students have cheated, and then your student would say, no, I didn't cheat. So how would the students prove himself or herself, right? That's why I really don't believe in AI detectors. And if you're going to ask me for a percentage, I'm not going to give a percentage to something that I don't actually believe in. So I hope that no one would ask me that question later. And another disadvantage of AI detectors is this. AI detectors are biased against non-native English writers or English speakers. There is this article or this study saying that AI detectors were near perfect in assessing essays of Americans. On the other hand, these detectors mistakenly classify about 62% of essays from non-native English students as AI generated. I made my case. AI detectors are not that feasible practically and technologically. That's why, going back, we have to rethink how we do the assessments in our classrooms. Now we're going to proceed to the next facet of navigating the interplay, which is we ought to empower educators in the age of AI. And fifth point would be faculty and staff training on the use of AI. The different stakeholders in the universities have to understand how AI works. I'm not asking you to be computer scientists, but what I'm telling you is that you would have that minimal working knowledge. Because an effective collaboration between AI and the person or the human being would require comprehensive training in the usage of these AI tools. And understanding how AI works would also include understanding its limitations and how to interpret and how to be critical thinkers whenever you are presented with an AI generated insights. Moreover, continuous support and training, this is a good thing, can reduce both the resistance and can increase enthusiasm for the potential of AI in the classroom. Again, I'm like a broken record. AI is here to stay. We have to learn to adopt and adapt rather than resisting the ubiquity of AI. Next point would be we also have to prioritize pedagogical readiness before technology. That it is crucial that we ensure that educators would have that strong fundamental pedagogical understanding. There is this expression that pedagogy goes first before technology. That's why pedagogy drives technology, not the other way around. Because all of these advanced tools will be ineffective if the educator doesn't really have a solid foundation in effective teaching strategies. In other words, before we get to talk about AI, let's talk about pedagogy. Let's talk about the teacher. Let's talk about the teaching strategies. And after you ensure the pedagogical readiness, then we can talk about the next part, the AI integration, the technological integration, so on and so forth. Now we are going to proceed to the next facet of the AI navigation, which is AI governance. 7 point, schools must ensure security and compliance, that administrators must safeguard, sorry about it. Administrators must safeguard student and staff information by ensuring AI systems are secure and comply with privacy regulations. In relation to this, we have a responsibility to anonymize or pseudonymize data before using it in any AI models to minimize the risk of exposing sensitive information. And the 8 point, would be the promotion of fairness and equity, that schools or the different stakeholders in the schools and universities must carefully select and oversee AI tools to ensure that they promote fairness and inclusivity in education. And the last facet of this AI navigation within the bounds of education would be the human centric AI. We must ensure human oversight in any AI use. While we can all agree that AI can generate valuable insights, human judgment and critical thinking will always remain necessary for evaluating and refining outputs. And as I previously mentioned, AI, specifically generative AI, is very prone to hallucinations and errors, making human oversight always essential. And in relation to this 9 point, this is what I propose. We should treat any AI generated suggestions as a starting point rather than the final word. That we can use it to generate inspirations or find inspirations, but we get to do the rest of the hard work. I hope that that is clear. And although AI can increase our work efficiency, we should view it as our assistant, not as our replacement. And remember this statement: no AI model is 100% accurate, which further solidifies our argument to ensure human oversight in any AI use. And 10th point here, the last point, that it is also incumbent upon us, fellow educators, that we overcome any AI meets and educate our students, educate our colleagues, our stakeholders about what AI is really about. The problem here these days is that misinformation and fear and panic about AI are fueled by works in science fiction, in the media, in YouTube, in cinema, in any dystopian narratives. And these should be countered with proper education and proper awareness. The focus should be on the responsible use of AI, not on any doomsday scenarios, and schools must promote informed discussions to cultivate a balanced perspective. And in relation to having this kind of balanced perspective, since I've been giving this kind of talk since 2023, I'd say that there are two extremes. The leftmost extreme would be people saying that AI should be completely banned, and the other extreme that AI is a god. Of course, we subscribe to neither perspective. These are both extremes and ridiculous, I'd say. But we promote the balanced perspective somewhere at the middle, that AI is a helpful tool that should be used in a more responsible manner. And I'm guessing that is the reason why we are having this webinar this morning. At the end of the day, AI is simply a tool. It depends on the person using it. It's like a knife. Knife is good if you're gonna use that to what? To slice your favorite sashimi, but knife is bad if you're gonna use that to kill a person. It's something similar to this. And these are the suggested must-haves for school administrators or for anyone in a position of leadership in the school. That you must have a working knowledge, a minimal working knowledge of technologies to effectively integrate them in education. You must also have the ability to make informed decisions based both on pedagogy and technology. And you must have, that objective and balanced approach, fostering curiosity about AI without instilling any fear or resistance. And you must also promote staff development for adapting to AI tools. And my final reminders for everyone: AI presents both opportunities and risks. Maintaining a balance, that's the keyword here, balance. Balance perspective without excessive optimism or pessimism. And it is up to our respective academic freedom, whether in the classroom design, the learning objectives, or course outcomes, how we choose to employ AI. And remember this: AI return results are not gospel truths. Employing any AI tool should always be done with human oversight. And since AI is here to stay, we must consider to develop school-specific frameworks for its responsible use to mitigate any AI-driven misinformation. And my final slide here: according to Millard, a high school English teacher in Michigan, he said, "I've been to former students' weddings and baby showers and funerals of their parents. I've hugged my students. I've high-fived my students. I've cried with my students. A computer will never do that. Ever, ever, ever." And with that, I thank you all for listening, and I hope that you learned something new today that you can apply onto your daily lives, your daily jobs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rain, for that insightful presentation. Indeed, your discussion on the pros and cons on the use of AI are enlightening. Additionally, Dr. Rain discussed the responsible use of AI in education and gave four principles on how to navigate AI in the academe. He also suggested three types of use of AI in the classroom, and I believe that this will help educators decide to what extent AI can be used in their own classroom. So again, thank you very much, Dr. Rain. For the open forum, we welcome questions and clarifications from our audience. You may send your questions through the Q&A section. Um, some of the questions are on the certificate. We will be giving e-certificates later upon filling out the um, feedback form. So please stay tuned for that. For the topic particularly, we have some questions here. Is the UPOU AI guideline mentioned available online, and can they use this guideline as a basis for their um, AI guideline also in their school?
That's a good question. Yeah, it's available on our website, upou.edu.ph, or you can do a quick Google search. Just use the keywords UPOU guidelines, and yeah, you may consider whatever applies to you. You can revise that. I don't see anything wrong if you're gonna find inspiration based on our AI policies. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Dr. Rain. Aside from encouraging students to declare if they use AI in their academic outputs, what can educators do to ensure that students maintain academic integrity?
Yeah, this is a good question. This question doesn't only pertain to AI, but academic integrity has been our issue for the longest time. I mean,
Mhm.
our issue, a human issue, a worldwide issue, even before the advent of AI. So before the advent of AI, what were we doing? And whatever we were doing from the old days, then we should further strengthen our efforts to really maintain that. There are many practical ways. I mean, I I can spend the whole day to enumerate all the possible ways, but again, it would really rely on the teacher, on the school, or even considering the classroom setup.
Thank you for that, Dr. Rain. How do you see AI changing in education over the next 5 to 10 years? And What skills should educators and students focus on to stay ahead?
Well, I think I've touched about this already. Off the top of my head right now, there should be AI literacy. If your school can integrate any what short courses or even a formal course or a formal class on AI literacy, then that's gonna help. Let's say an AI literacy training for teachers and another one for the students. Yeah, because I mentioned AI is here to stay, and we are living in this AI soaked world or AI drowned world. And if we want to survive this AI drowned world, then we must have, that basic AI literacy. And in relation to this AI literacy, right? If I'm not mistaken, next month we're gonna release our massive open online courses on AI literacy, and just stay posted. You can access our Facebook page, and I'm gonna be teaching the first uh,
Mm.
AI MOOC in our university. So that may also help. If that is free, you can enroll. Yeah, further announcements will be made. So just keep posted.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Dr. Rain. Actually, that answers our next question about a reliable MOOC or online
Yeah.
course that teachers can enroll in to understand and navigate AI. So for our audience, please stay tuned and visit UPOU's website for that online course. So that will be very helpful. Okay, so another question here. Actually, there are many questions in our
Yeah.
Q&A chat box, but we're selecting the most related questions to Dr. Rain's presentation. Okay, so how can schools monitor AI usage to ensure it aligns with ethical guidelines without over policing or over monitoring students?
Well, in relation to what I mentioned earlier, it has to start at the top. I mean, I cannot really dictate how you're gonna monitor the use of AI in the school. That's why you might consider my answer as repetitive or generic, but it has to start at the top. There must be a policy in place. So if we're gonna institute policies on the monitoring of the use of AI, then it must be incorporated in that kind of policy or framework.
Okay, so I'm still reading on the
I'm
Q&A.
seeing there are almost 100 questions already. It's impossible to answer all of these.
Yes. So,
And then, Sir Starks, if it's all right to quickly butt in, uh, as mentioned in the introduction given by Sir Starks, I've been giving about 40 speaking engagements about AI. Yeah, since the rise of ChatGPT in late November 2022. So if you are interested in having me to speak about AI in your institutions, then I'm pretty open about it. And we consider this as part of UPOU's public service in the country. So you may reach out to me if you are considering to have me so that we can have specific discussions customized for your school's needs or university's needs. My email address. Let me just
mhm,
show my screen right now. Yeah, I'm sharing this because it's impossible to answer all the questions.
yes.
So, so I'm doing everyone a favor. Yeah, this is pretty exciting. I always get this. Yeah, you can take a screenshot. You can copy my email address. It's RD Pugoy, Romeo Delta, Pugoy, Papa, Umbrella Golf Ostrich Yankee at up.edu.ph.
Yes. And I think indeed we cannot finish all the 100 plus questions. And I think we can just have one more question here coming from a student.
Sure.
And you as a professor, um,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm a computer science or IT student who's interested in pursuing a thesis about
Uh-huh.
AI in my country, what topic or research problem do you think would be most relevant? Or maybe you can cite some research gaps from your previous studies on AI.
um, Regarding that, is the student a computer scientist or education major or whatever major?
Computer science or IT student.
Okay. Yeah, off the top of my head right now, I'm just speaking off the top of my head right now. What you can do, well, you can email me if you like, but explainable AI. Explainable AI or the explainability of AI is a very open research topic because the problem with AI is a black box. While AI can definitely give us accurate answers, right? We are amazed. Oh, why is it so damn accurate or it's so outstanding or astounding? Because it is a black box. It's quite difficult to explain how the AI arrived at that particular decision. Yeah. That is a facet that you may consider. That is actually my dissertation during my PhD days, making AI more explainable. That is an open research question. And I'm telling you, you are going to contribute largely to the society and to the betterment of our world if you're going to deal or you're going to research into explainable AI or AI explainability. And this can also help even the educators, the non-AI persons, how decisions are made by AI so that they can be more confident in the utilization of AI. So I'm rooting for you, whoever you are. I'm rooting for you. I hope that you can do something about the explainability or interpretability of AI.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Dr. Rain. And to our attendees, audience, that we haven't accommodated your questions. Dr. Rain has shared his email address, and I think you will be receiving a lot of
Oh my goodness.
emails after this Solve webinar. And with that, um, uh, though we would like to accommodate more questions, but we have to conclude our open forum due to time constraints. And with that, this ends our open forum. Thank you very much, Dr. Rain, for your insightful and interesting talk. And we hope that we could engage more on this topic on AI in education. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
We would also like to hear from our audience also by filling out our feedback form. You may scan the QR code or type bit.ly/49 sold. Certificate will be sent to those who will fill out the feedback form, and please expect it within the month. Okay, so that ends our 49 Solve. Thank you to all our attendees and, of course, our resource speaker for being with us today. We hope to see you in the next webinar in the coming months. So please stay tuned for announcements on SEARCA's social media channels. Again, my name is Stoix. On behalf of SEARCA, maraming salamat, and we wish you all a good day.